Like all crime syndicates in a lower cartel, requires manpower and firepower to maintain its operations. Hitman or sicario have both manpower and firepower in abundance. The sicarios carry out assassinations, kidnappings, thefts and extortions, as well as protection of highly ranked individuals. In the hierarchy of the cartel Joaquín El Chapo, Guzmán had his feared and loyal sicados like Marufu El Bravo, the Grim Reaper and El Fantasma. Many of them were tortured, killed and imprisoned, but none met a tragic end like Andres Rubio, aka El Gallo, the rooster safeguarding the Suns in January of 2017. The CEO of crime, El Chapo, was extradited to the United States, and 2 years later he was convicted by a federal court in New York and sentenced to life in prison. With El Chapo out of the picture, there was trouble in cocaine paradise. How vacuums and territorial tussles arose, as well as hyenas looking to attack the seemingly vulnerable Sinaloa Cartel with their father behind bars. The sons of El Chapo, commonly known as El Chapas, or at the center of an internal feud for control of the cartel's affairs against the last remaining member of the old god Ishmael Zambada Garcia, aka El Mayo. There's been no shortage of blood spilled as the two internal factions battled out, and the best way to protect themselves is by hiring a personal sicario protection. This was none other than Andres Rubio, aka El Gallo. The rooster, known in the port of San Felipe as El Gallo, fed a gang of assassins that served as the hired muscle for 4 of El Chapo's sons, who are known as Los Chapitos: Joaquín, Guzmán López, Iván Argueldo, Guzmán Salazar, and Jesus Alfredo Guzmán Salazar. Prior to getting his job as a hitman for Los Papitos, Rubio was an alleged total about trafficker with a long career but also a low profile. Now you may be wondering if totoaba is some rare variant of cocaine. Well, yes, but actually not. Obama is an endangered marine fish that lives exclusively in Mexico City of Cortez, being sought after for its swim bladder, which is considered a delicacy in the dry. Towable swim bladders are so valuable that they refer to as the cocaine of the sea, with prices in the millions on the Asian black market. So metaphorically, it is a little bit like cocaine. Trafficking to Tawaba was the modus operandi of Cartel de Mar, aka Hotel of the Sea, which Rubio was associated with once. The cartel got raided by the feds. Rubio left the aquatic life of the narcotics life and joined the Cartel de Sinaloa, enemies of the Suns, right after the extradition of El Chapo to the United States. A lot of tension has been burrowing between Los Chapitos and their father's right-hand man, Ishmael Garcia, aka El Mayo. El Mayo is one of the most preferred men in narco history. His status is almost mythical at this point. Before he assumed leadership of the entire Sinaloa cartel, allegedly served as the logistical coordinator for the Zambada Garcia faction, which has overseen the trafficking of cocaine and heroin into Chicago and other U.S. cities. In 2007, El Mayo was featured on America's Most Wanted. Both the FBI and DEA have been offering a hefty sum of money for information. Led his capture in 2011. It was rumored that Elmo might have had plastic surgery to disguise himself as a woman to move throughout Mexico. Today, he has never been arrested and imprisoned, and as of 2022, is the single remaining fugitive on the list of Mexico's 37 most wanted drug lords. The Sinaloa cartel has been decisively influenced by the Miles of Bada since the 1990s. In addition, in the past few years, he had the final word on the plan of action to follow. Although his offspring and significant associates of his went behind bars and others were killed in tussles, he remains a fugitive yet to be caught. He is considered to be adept at handling the destabilizations and arrests of his close circle within the Sinaloa cartel, as seen with authority by the Consolidated Empire. He is even among the staunchest enemies, since he bets on diplomacy and results to combat when there is no other way out. However, the bus is in the last phase of his criminal career. He's around 74 years old and also sick with diabetes. It is likely that he will never be captured, and he's not guaranteed to live much longer either, but he still has some time to consolidate legacy and the generational change seeds of discord. Until 2016, Elmo headed up the Sinaloa cartel in partnership with El Chapo. And when El Chapo was captured, El Mayo was thought to have assumed full command of the cartel and to be Mexico's most enduring and powerful drug lord. Now the sons of El Chapo will stop ethos on to claim what belonged to their father. Now, you might be wondering why both parties didn't just join forces and work together. There's enough money in the cocaine business for everybody, right? Something else had happened in the trial of El Chapo during the judicial process that led to the life sentence about Guzmán. He sent his own bata Elvis Sentio, the son of El Mio, testified against him. This would have triggered resentment between both parties. To make matters worse, Videocamon Lopez was arrested in the federal operation already known as El Culiacanazo. El Culiacanazo was a failed operation by the Mexican National Guard to capture a video. A large convoy of vehicles drove up to a video's house in Culiacán based on an extradition warrant from a U.S. judge. The National Guard succeeded in drink was man loves but quickly found themselves surrounded by cartel enforcers. What did they expect? I thought they just knock on the door to capture the son of El Chapo and then walk out with him. The cartel enforcers were well equipped with armored vehicles, bulletproof vests, rocket launchers, grenades and heavy machine guns. During this arrest, the cartel took several hostages, including 8 servicemen as well as the housing unit where the military's families lived in Culiacán. After his arrest, El Mayo refused to participate with Los Torpedos in the release of the young Guzmán. The president of Mexico, Underestimeral Abezobrado, had to step into order. His release stating that the capture of one drug smuggler could not be more valuable than their lives of innocents, but the die had been cast. The lines had been drawn and the seeds of discord had been sown. There was about to be an all-out war between Los Gatos and all their rivals, which included El Mayo. The generational war begins. The Sinaloa Cartel has stood the test of time for over 3 decades. It still stands tall among its peers and is known as the cartel of all cartels. It seems that the only thing that can bring down the Sinaloa is the Sinaloa Cartel itself. The old god versus the new breed, Elmo versus Los Chapidosos. The Russians are identified as one of the armed arms about Mile, and this group leads the internal dispute against Los Chapitos. Los Chapitos have also gotten reinforcements of their own by hiring Andres Rubio, aka El Gallo, to head his own team of assassins and sicarios. Rubio and his men formed the armed wing of Los Chapitos. A huge portion of this generational tension was situated at their pooch in Sinaloa and San Lucia, Colorado, as well as Sonora and Baja California, leaving a trail of massacres, clashes and fear among the population left in the midst of the Norco War. This has been prolonged over the past 3 years and has been suffered by operators who respond to one group or another as if it were collateral damage. In Baja California there exists a small community called San Felipe, and this is where Andres Rubio met his tragic fate at approximately 9:21 p.m. on Monday, April 11, 2022 was attacked and executed in the center of neighborhood of the town of San Felipe. He left his residence, which was property number 282 on Mark Arriba Avenue, for a street taco stand to get dinner. The alleged pass of the hitman hired by Lost has himself been gunned down by gang of assassins. While enjoying his tacos, a series of 14 gunshots were heard and the man received 7 serious gunshot wounds located in part of his body, which included his face, chest, and abdomen. Desals were inside a nearby white vehicle, which had evidently been waiting for his arrival. The attacker's white compact car tinted windows were seen immediately speeding away from the area. The emergency services were called, which urgently requested an ambulance on Marquette Bay Avenue near the corner of Chatham Mall. The paramedics found Under alive lying in the middle of the street and rushed him in the ambulance to the nearest emergency room at the community or hospital. However, on those Rubios come to his injuries and died at approximately 10:30 p.m. Local time. Elements of the state prosecutor's office took the body to the forensic medical service for the corresponding expert evidence that it would be handed over to his next of kin. Homicide investigators arrived at the crime scene, and they found 14 5.56mm spent casings in front of the deceased house. Police officers, who were called to search the surrounding area, found the white compact vehicle burning at a local garage dump at 10:50 p.m., having evidently been disposed of by the attackers. Although this happened on Monday, April 11th, it was kept secret from the public until offices disclosed details about the shooting on Tuesday, April 12th. No arrests have been reported to date by the Baja California Prosecutor's Office. So then comes the question, who exactly killed El Gallo? The list of suspects ranges from El Mayo and his affiliates to Cartel de March. Remember them, fish traffickers who happened to be his former employers. It is also probable that another group from outside of San Felipe was the one who had El Gallo executed. Sinaloa Cartel's Los Roses, who have created a fortress in the nearby city of Mexicali, is also a possibility. Another one is Sinaloa Cartel's Los Alazes from nearby areas of Sonora. Being a sicario is dangerous enough, being the leader of a group. The Cardios is even worse, but working for a faction of a cartel as big as the Sinaloa Cartel amidst all the internal tension that has to take the cake. It's a dangerous path with dangerous repercussions, and only a tragic fate would befall those who tread this path. If this video sent chills down your spine, check out our other awesome videos on the channel, detailing organized crime, mafia and prisons. Thanks for watching.